The markets have been wild recently. We saw over $1 trillion wiped out in a single day with semiconductor stocks like Nvidia leading the plunge. But amidst all this chaos, there's one stock that's looking particularly enticing to me right now. Before we get to that stock, there's a lot happening in the market right now. It's also earnings season, so let's get to that first. Let's begin. First, let's look at the big story. Let's see what really happened. Yes, I'm talking about DeepSeek's R1 AI model. This new AI model is being called a game changer. It offers high performance at a much lower cost. Sounds great for businesses adopting AI, but it sends shockwaves through the semiconductor sector. Just look at Nvidia. The stock dropped over 17% in just one day. It was because investors feared that cheaper AI could reduce demand for high-end chips. And as you'd expect, by extension, the equipment used to make those chips. This panic didn't stop there. It spread across the tech sector, wiping over $1 trillion in market value in just one day. The market's been recovering since then, and Nvidia is doing the same. So, the launch of this model was basically seen as a black swan in the AI investing community, but maybe it's not so, because here's the twist. There's a growing speculation that DeepSeek's model might rely on advanced chips or distillation techniques that require cutting edge semiconductor technology anyway. Now, if this is true, this whole sell-off was completely overblown. I believe even if it's not true, the sell-off was quite overblown. And this also came at a very good time because we have earnings season right now, so all companies get an opportunity to speak on this topic. So what's up with the earnings so far? Let me give you a quick summary. First, let's start with Microsoft. It reported strong results with $69.6 billion in revenue for Q4 2024, up 12% year over year. Their cloud business grew by 21% and their AI business surpassed an annual run rate of $13 billion. This is up 175% from last year. Incredible. Satya Nadella emphasized that Microsoft is doubling down on AI investments despite short-term market fears. Then let's look at Meta. They also delivered impressive numbers with Q4 revenue reaching $48.4 billion, a 21% increase year over year, and full year profits soaring by 59% to $62.4 billion. They also announced plans to invest $60 to $65 billion into AI infrastructure this year, highlighting their confidence in AI as a long-term growth driver. So two of the biggest names in AI, Microsoft and Meta, are going to continue spending on AI. This should be calming the market down further. Then we also had Apple earnings, and they reported a record-breaking Q1 revenue of $124.3 billion, up 4% year over year. While iPhone sales fell slightly short of expectations at $69.14 billion, their services segment grew by 14% to $26.34 billion. Even Tim Cook highlighted Apple's focus on integrating AI into their ecosystem through Apple Intelligence. Then we also have one of the most polarizing companies out there, and that is Tesla. Their Q4 revenue rose just 2% to $25.7 billion, while profits dropped significantly due to lower vehicle prices and increased competition. However, their energy business is looking quite good. This time, the Tesla earnings call was overly optimistic, and there were very few discussions about cars. It was mostly about autonomy, robotics, and all the other things that they are doing. Basically, what it looks like, nobody invested in Tesla right now is invested due to the numbers today. They are all relying on what they'll do in the future. Anyway, the main takeaway so far is that despite short-term market volatility caused by DeepSeek's R1 model and other factors, major tech companies are still heavily investing in AI and positioning themselves for long-term growth. Okay, now it's time for the stock I really want to talk about, the stock that I have been accumulating and the stock that you should definitely be looking at, and I'm talking about ASML. This is a company that I was eyeing for a long time, and I've seen them go down over the last 1 year. However, after their latest earnings, I'm very confident about their future. But before we look at their earnings, what does ASML actually do? By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, hit like and consider subscribing. I post videos weekly, and more recently I've been talking a bit more about the stocks I own, and I'll be making a lot more videos like this, so make sure you watch out for those. ASML is the world leader in extreme ultraviolet lithography machines. These machines that I'm talking about are absolutely essential for making advanced chips used in everything from AI applications to smartphones and high performance computing. And here's what makes them truly special. No other company can match ASML's technology at their scale. They are literally enabling the future of advanced semiconductors. Just look at these machines. They are massive and super complicated. What you're looking at here is one of their machines, and this is what their moat is. They decided that they were going to do one thing really well, and that's what they're focused on. They're almost like a monopoly where they own 90% of their market. I'll talk a bit about how they're positioned for long-term growth, but first let's look at their earnings. There's also one thing I want to say. This is the first European company that I'm investing into. Looking at the state of Europe, I actually didn't think that I would be able to invest in innovation over there, but I'm very happy to do so. Cheers to their home country. Anyway, let's look at their income statement. Their gross margin sits at a massive 52% and their net bookings hit 7.1 billion euros. This is actually double of what analysts were expecting. For the full year of 2024, they achieved total net sales of 28.3 billion euros and net income of 7.6 billion euros. Feel free to go through this income statement, but also find some time to read about what the company does and how they have been performing over the past couple of years. ASML was actually not performing that great until recently, however, they seem to be doing pretty well now. Looking ahead to 2025, ASML expects revenue to be between 30 to 35 billion euros. This along with gross margins of over 51% again. That kind of growth is rare and it's being driven by demand for their EUV systems as AI adoption accelerates globally. I'm really going to ask you to do some research on ASML. They are doing an incredibly good job at what they do. But here are three main reasons why I have been buying this stock and I'll continue buying this stock in the short term. As mentioned, they have unmatched technology. They dominate the EUV lithography market, which is critical for producing cutting-edge chips. They are used in AI and advanced computing. No other company can replicate what they do at scale. They also have very strong financials. With a 36 billion euro order backlog and consistent revenue growth, ASML is financially rock solid. And finally, just look at the long-term trends. As AI adoption grows across industries, demand for advanced chips and tools needed to make them will only increase. And it's not just ASML, by the way. The entire semiconductor ecosystem benefits when AI expands into new applications. Companies like Nvidia, AMD, TSMC, and even big tech players like Microsoft all are interconnected in this space. There's one thing that I want to call out, that the chip sector tends to be quite cyclical. Just imagine, once a lot of these big players have already established big data centers, they might stop buying chips for a while, and that's when you'll see a downturn in this market. Just make sure you know that and be prepared for it. But that shouldn't stop you from buying good companies at good prices, as we see with ASML today. So this is all great, but what does this all mean for the broader market in 2025? Despite recent volatility, I believe that 2025 is going to be a strong year for semiconductors and tech overall. There are two main reasons for it. Global chip sales are expected to grow significantly as demand for AI and advanced computing continues to rise. And secondly, big tech companies are doubling down on their AI investments despite short-term fears about cost-effective models like DeepSeek's R1. And when it comes to investors like us, we should have a good macro thesis. As long as it's intact, we should be buying quality companies at good prices, as we see with ASML today. Something that I've mentioned in many of my videos is my macro thesis that is based on the real estate cycle. So I believe we have a lot of upside left in 2025 and maybe even in 2026, but at least the first half of 2025 is going to present a lot of good buying opportunities, and I'm going to be jumping on them as I did with ASML. Generally, I say keep an eye out for good companies. There are some companies that I buy all the time. For example, Google and Amazon are my most purchased stocks. I pretty much buy them every week. And now I've added ASML to that list as well. ASML is one of those rare companies that not only benefits from these trends but actually enables them through its groundbreaking technology. So what do you think of ASML, or generally the semiconductor industry, or what other stocks are you looking out for right now? Let me know in the comment section. I'll see you next week in a new video. Till then, keep learning and stay on top of your finances. Until next time.